Well, hello and welcome to Got Clutter, Get Organized, the conversation. I'm excited because you know how I get when I have a fellow organizer on for a conversation. And this is, of course, Nikki Bell from Just Us Organizing. Nikki, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate the invitation to talk to you.
So today we're going to talk about the unpacking. Of course, we've had a conversation about the packing, but we're going to talk about the unpacking. But before that, Nikki, what made you decide to be a professional organizer?
Well, really and truly, all of my life, I've enjoyed organized space, functions, systems, and even the careers before organizing. I was implementing those things before I knew this was a career. And when my husband brought up to me that, they pay people to do this, you don't have to touch my things. I immediately looked it up and I was like, this is where I need to be. This is where my full purpose, where all of my skills can come together and just mesh well. And it was perfect. It was a no-brainer. I immediately found a mentor and jumped right in head first.
That is wonderful. I'm always excited to talk to a fellow organizer. So today we're talking about unpacking. So, what is something people do that they shouldn't? Specifically, okay, the movers, the friends have left. They're in their new space. They're surrounded by boxes and stuff. What should they not do? Because I know this point sometimes people just want to really scream and just go out the house. But what should they not do, Nikki?
People say they want to burn all of their things, just start over fresh. But one definite thing that a lot of people are doing lately, movers are offering unpack. And you get excited like, oh wow, someone's going to unpack my boxes and put my things away. No, 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 they're just going to unpack them. So you've just unloaded all of your property into all of your flat spaces all across the rooms, and you're immediately going to become overwhelmed. It's not going to be a good thing. So uh, don't accept the unpack from the movers. It's not. A couple other things that people do is they put it off. Well, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And I've come across people who've been in their home 7 years and still haven't unpacked all of their boxes. So definitely set up the schedule. Definitely put some time aside, and at least get your key essential items out. But definitely make sure you have a timeline, like a deadline for yourself that I need to have everything unpacked by this period of time. And one of the other ones I really like, when people unpack things and they're in a rush, they put things away with no rhyme or reason. Definitely don't do that, because that's just like keeping your things in a box. You're not going to know where they are. So those are my three biggies. Like, don't do that.
And I'm glad you said that because you're right. People will move and then they'll be in a house for months and they still got, because everybody, a lot of people, percentage of people have that box in the basement and the attic that they haven't touched since they moved. So you are
Mhm.
so right. So what are things that people should do when, okay, the movers, the friends have left, they're surrounded by the boxes? What are like a few things that they should do as they begin to unpack?
Well, with me, I always try to put rhyme and reason in place. I know at the end of a move, I'm going to be exhausted. So, one of the first things I like to have, hopefully, you packed it on the packed side, but your open first box. This needs to be open as soon as you get in. It's better, it's even more famous than the part box that is important as well. But the open first box is going to have toilet paper, paper towels, soap, hopefully a fresh set of sheets. So at the end of your day, you can clean yourself and you can go to bed. You're going to be exhausted. Don't worry about trying to cook that night. It's not going to happen. Order out, clean yourself up, go to bed, and your open first box will really help with this. Next is that um, the parts box. Definitely find that you're going to want a lot of your furniture pieces, screws, things like that are going to be in that box. So you want to know where that is so you can get that open and they can put your furniture together. Yay, that's a part of the bed sleeping. All of your remotes are going to be there, all of your plugs, the setups for the computers, all the Wi-Fi connections, all that's a part of that box. So just make sure you have that. And one of the biggest things is, especially if you're using movers, and these are in no particular order, is to make sure you label your rooms. So your other home had living room, guest room, bedroom, but if this new home doesn't have that, or it has more rooms than the previous home, you're going to want to identify each room, even if it's obvious this is the kitchen. Go ahead and label its kitchen. And if you have specific big pieces of furniture that are going to go into those spaces, write down on that post-it or a large piece of paper, or take a picture and put it up there, the furniture that's going to go in that room. Because generally, when movers are coming in, they're coming in back to back to back, and they're like, okay, check this number off, check this number off. We brought it in, we brought it in. And they're also asking you, where does this go? And that's very overwhelming to have 5 or 6 people. And big moves generally have 3 to 5 movers. That's a lot of people flooding you with information and asking you questions and pulling at you in different directions. So that'll kind of help. I'll show your driver, like, hey, this is the living room. These are the big pieces that go here. And he can be in charge of making sure the guys get the things there. So that's really a biggie for me. It's like, label these rooms. And especially if I'm on a job and the client's not there, this is not my furniture. I don't know. I don't know where it's supposed to go. Where does this bedroom set go? It looks very similar to this bedroom set. It's a lot easier for everyone involved, especially if you have additional people helping you, to just have that information posted and available. And the last thing is, really designate a space for your boxes, your paper, your debris, because after you empty those boxes, it's going to be very overwhelming because they have a bunch of boxes stacked over to the side. Break them down, get them stacked to one area, and you can even locate local recycle and reuse facilities. I know in Houston we have several that are free, and you even have parks that you can go to and dump your recycle in, as long as it's neat and, neat and tidy, of course. But you can do that, and that's another item that's out of your space, out of your way, and your home starts to feel and look like new. So regardless of what room you start with, I always like to start with kitchens and bedrooms, but regardless of what room you start with, I just advise, have a plan in place before you even begin, and
You
hire an
gave
organizer.
Yeah, and that is true. And you gave so many wonderful tips, Nikki, because I was thinking about the box you pack last but open first. I mean, that's a must for me because, it usually has my one spoon, bowl, cup, just in case. And like you said, the sheets, the towels. But I'm like you, I have to, when I move, my bedroom has to be set up that first day because I'm exhausted and I just want to be able to have a good night's sleep. I love that, but also just labeling things. But it surprises me sometimes. People put everything in boxes. I'm like, where is stuff? And you're
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of times the movers will be nice. They'll be, if you label things clearly, they'll be more than happy to take it at least to the room. And one time I moved because I have like the fireplace that just goes everywhere with me. They were really nice enough. I said, "Well, could you just kind of sit it by that wall because that's where I want it." And then that
Mm-hmm.
saves you a lot of the moving and the tiredness. So wow, you just gave so many tips. Okay, listeners, so you probably want to play this again and then probably want to share it with a friend who's like right sitting on the floor right now thinking, "Okay, eating some Chinese food or something, just feeling overwhelmed." So, Nikki, in all that you do, because you have clients, you've got family, I know you probably do things in the community, etc. How are you like you stay organized? What are some of the things you do to stay on top of things?
Really, to get through my day, I everything's time blocked. In the past, people have said time blocking doesn't work for me. It works for me. I have to schedule everything in a time. From, especially in Houston, we have the traffic. Please, no one else move here, um, unless you need to be unpacked by me.
That's right.
But I factor in traffic. I have to put that in the schedule. It's like, okay, my client's at 10, but I will block off my schedule an hour and a half before that so that nothing else gets in the way, because I want to give myself time to get there, time to load the car. And I just need everything's in blocks. Everything's in blocks, especially my me time. That is on. I schedule that on my calendar. I am my client. That's what works best for me, because a lot of times, at least for me, I really enjoy what I do. And if someone calls me, they need help, and I was like, oh, yes, I get to help someone. Um, but I have to look at my calendar first. And if I see that I haven't had any personal time or I've been kind of lacking in the family area, I was like, no, 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 I'm not available this week. But what I can do is, and then offer them another option. Because if they really and truly need the help, another couple of days is not going to help. They're not going to hurt them at all. So I just want to make sure I'm giving everyone my undivided attention when I'm there. So the time blocking helps me do that. It keeps me in place.
Mm. Well, thank you so much, Nikki. It has been a pleasure to talk to you. So, how can listeners connect with you?
Well, on social media wise, I'm on TikTok, thanks to the kids,
I know.
Facebook and Instagram at JustUsOrganizing. And if you're interested in a free consultation, because yes, my consultations are free, you can go to JustUsOrganizing.com and click on the booking.
And of course, I will always have links to Nikki's website as well as her social media, and they will be listed below. So, Nikki, thank you again so much for your time. It has truly been a pleasure talking to you about unpacking.
Thank you so much for having me.